Good Monday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you for joining us. We are live in Charlottesville, across Albemarle County, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. We're presented by Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine. Dr. Wagner absolutely has your back. Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine and Ting Fiber Internet powers this network. A lot of news on today's program. We will lead with statue removal in Charlottesville on Saturday morning and afternoon. We're going to break some news on today's program. A restaurant on the downtown mall is now permanently closed. We will let you know the future of the building the restaurant is in and what we can expect for more closures on the downtown mall. Some are brewing. We're going to talk on today's program about a business that's for sale. There's a cafe, bakery, and catering company for sale. Now, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement to find out which cafe, bakery, and catering company is for sale. I'm going to make some guesses on the I Love CVille Show after reading the Craigslist ad for this business that's for sale about which brand this is, which business this is. We're going to do that later in the broadcast. Also on today's program, we're going to talk about Skooma Boutique Dispensary. Skooma Boutique Dispensary in the downtown mall is primed for success. We'll let you know why Skooma Boutique Dispensary is primed for success. We will also take a look at a macro trend, and the macro trend is listings now coming on the market across the United States of America. We'll tell you why we think listings are coming on the market and potentially how this housing market could stabilize a little bit. A lot we're going to cover on today's show. Hit the like button like Johnny Ornalis just did. Skip Hudgens, hello, 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 and welcome to the show. All right, guys, let's lead with the statue removal. The statue removal has been something that has been brewing in Charlottesville since before August 12th, 2017. We have had the discussion of taking statues out of parks in public places in the city of Charlottesville for 4 years now. 4 years now, we've been talking about this. Initially, my mindset when talking about these statues, these monuments of war, initially my mindset was leave them up so we can learn from history. However, like many humans, my mind changed. I realized how divisive these statues were. I realized after listening to learn how much these statues hurt people in this community, including friends of mine. When I took myself out of the equation and I listened to people that I respect and I listen to learn as opposed to listening to talk back, I realized that these statues not only hurt people, but they potentially continued this legacy of racism in this community. On Saturday, City of Charlottesville, in very quick and efficient manner, removed the statues, including the Lewis and Clark Sacagawea statue at the end of West Main. Now, there's so many in this community that say, hey, taking the statues down cannot change history. And there's so many in the community that say, hey, taking these statues down does not give the next generation a learning point about what happened in the past. And guess what? Those comments, I can respect. Those comments may even be applicable. However, it's up to us as leaders, it's up to us as a community to consider the community in totality. And when such a large portion of the city of Charlottesville explains in consistent fashion, and the conversation's been going on for 4 years now, that these statues hurt us to the heart and soul. These statues make us nostalgic of a time in the past that we're ready to forget. We have to listen to learn. We have to take ourselves out of the equation and listen to what other people are saying. And I think now, with statues being removed from the city itself can start to heal, find its identity, and move forward. With no statues in Market Street Park, aka Lee Park, we can make a strong argument that we're not going to have A12 2017 again in the city of Charlottesville. With statues removed from the courthouse and the Sacagawea, Lewis and Clark statue removed from West Main, we can now turn the page and head forward into a new chapter for the city. This new chapter, we hope, is one of community, one of bringing people together, one of assessing issues like affordability and diversity, or their lack thereof. We're dotting the I's and crossing the T's on these monuments of war. In a few days, this very raw and real emotion will be behind us. And as we leave it behind us, we applaud ourselves on the back, and then we get to work on the next topic and the next issue. I think Charlottesville this weekend had a moment to galvanize and to start healing. And that's exactly what this is going to do for this community. Listen to learn. It took me a while to get to that point. Listening to learn as opposed to listening to talk back after someone's done speaking. And when you listen to learn and you hear so many folks in our African American community in the city and around Central Virginia explain how these monuments of war hurt them to the heart, to the soul, you listen to learn and say, how can we help and do better? Charlottesville this weekend took a big step to healing in finding its new identity as a community. Let me know your thoughts. Put them in the comment section. If you disagree with me, that's okay. If you agree with me, that's okay as well. Put your thoughts in the comment section and I will relay them on air. Now, on Friday, on this network, in this microphone, while sitting in this chair, we broke some news about Fashion Square Mall heading to the courthouse steps in Albemarle County to be sold at auction. It's being foreclosed upon. Fashion Square Mall, or how we've dubbed it on this network, Fashion Scare Mall, has been a shadow of its former self for a decade plus. I remember when I first arrived in Charlottesville as a student at the University of Virginia in 2000. I remember walking up and down the hallways of the mall, 2000, 2001, 2002, heck, 2005 and 2006, looking for Christmas presents, birthday presents, or anniversary gifts. During that time, the early 2000s, the mall was still hopping. You had activity, you had kids, you had high schoolers looking to interact with each other at the food court. You had Dippin' Dots, the ice cream of the future, set up there. You had those playground areas. You had older folks walking around the mall to get their steps and their exercise in. You had activity. Now you go to Fashion Square Mall, and there are wings of the mall where property management of the mall doesn't even turn on the lights. It's a ghost town, a skeleton. It's a gold rush town that ran out of gold, and everyone left to find the next boom town. Fashion Scare Mall, its future is unknown. And here's the really unfortunate aspect of Fashion Scare Mall. The people that own the land and the people that own the structure, the mall itself, are very different people and different groups. Fashion Scare Mall is going to sit vacant. It's going to crumble, and it's going to reach its demise very soon. Fashion Square Mall is going to be the next Dewberry Hotel. The Dewberry Hotel, the hotel skeleton owned by Johnny Dewberry, who Bloomberg dubbed the Emperor of Empty Lots. I Love CVille has dubbed John Dewberry the extorting Emperor of Empty Lots. His property, the hotel in the downtown mall, has sat vacant for years. That, unfortunately, is going to be the future of Fashion Square Mall. Now, on Friday, on Real Talk, a show we host on this network, I made the argument that Albemarle County should buy this structure. When you're coming into Albemarle and into the city of Charlottesville, north of town, you see it. When you take Rio Road from the downtown mall and you're trying to get to 29, you see it. This is arguably one of the most important pieces of real estate because of its visibility and because of the high traffic nature associated with that 29 corridor and where Fashion Square Mall is located. This piece of property can be so many things for our community. It could be a convention center. We're missing that in Albemarle in the city of Charlottesville. How about a convention center where we can attract Fortune 50, Fortune 100, Fortune 200, Fortune 300, 400, and 500 companies to the city and to the county for their conventions, for their team building excursions. Hotels, they talk about their business during the week. And every hotel in this community has vacancy during the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The weekends, we got that covered. New York Times said Charlottesville was the top place to vacation on the East Coast because Albemarle County was #1 in the Commonwealth with vaccination rates. The city of Charlottesville was #3 in the Commonwealth with vaccination rates. The world's newspaper, the New York Times, says, go vacation in the city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County. It's safe, and people are coming. I was walking the downtown mall this weekend, and the buzz was palpable and tangible. People were walking up and down the mall spending their money, and I was happy as a Cheshire cat eating a sleeve of Ritz crackers with some cheese whiz on top of those Ritz crackers, smiling ear to ear. Albemarle County, if it's willing to get a little creative, a little innovative, a little entrepreneurial, and a little big picture with its thinking, could purchase this mall, convert it into a convention center, and the incremental revenue that comes from Fortune 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500 companies utilizing that convention center, spending money at restaurants and in hotels, that purchase and that rehabilitation cost, the purchase of the property and the rehabilitation costs, remodeling costs, hell, you can tear it down and build the convention center from scratch. That money would be made up in no time. How does a world-class city like the city of Charlottesville in Albemarle County not have a convention center that can accommodate 500, 1,000, 1,500 people at once? These types of structures become known across the country. And C-suite executives for these Fortune 500 companies, human resource directors for these Fortune 500 companies, will quickly become aware of a convention center that's state-of-the-art within a community that has wineries and breweries and the University of Virginia, where they can recruit future talent for their firms. They can stay in hotels like the Quark Hotel that is absolutely marvelous. They can go to restaurants, 14th in the nation per capita for restaurants, city of Charlottesville. We're missing a convention center that can accommodate the masses. This is a fantastic opportunity. Hell, how about the public-private partnership that I've learned from my friend Keith Smith. A public-private partnership, perhaps between the city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County with a private developer. The three work in concert to build a convention center that is needed and missing. I want to ask you this question. I want you to take a moment and reflect on Charlottesville City and Albemarle County. Charlottesville City and Albemarle County. What is it missing? We have restaurants. We have breweries. We have wineries. We have one of the top public universities in the world. We have hiking trails. We have the mountains. We have a fantastic music scene thanks to Core and Capshaw and Red Light Management. We have one of the only pedestrian walking malls in the country in the downtown mall. We have great jobs. What is the city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County missing? A convention center. A convention center solves the conundrum of midweek and early week business for the hotels and the restaurants. It drives incremental value for the community, for the municipalities. A convention center could be an attraction point for businesses up and down the eastern seaboard, Midwest, hell, across the country. The potential of a convention center is going to require innovative, creative, novel, and outside-the-box thinking. Do our municipalities embody that quality? Time will tell. Time will tell. Our next topic on today's program is the closure of a business that I like quite a bit. Taste of India on the Charlottesville Downtown Mall. Taste of India is in the building where Vita Nova is located. You have to wind down those steps to get to Taste of India on the downtown mall. Those curly steps. Vita Nova was on the main level. Judah, if you can put that photo on screen for us. Oh, it's on screen now. Thank you, Judah Wickhauer. Judah Wickhauer is our fantastic director. Look at the screen. We broke this news on our Instagram account. Taste of India, permanently out of business. Vita Nova, we broke the news on the I Love CVille Network a couple weeks ago that Vita Nova was going to relocate its pizzeria across the mall to the Impeccable Pig storefront. Now that building, where Vita Nova and Taste of India currently are located, has two vacancies. One, when Vita Nova goes across the mall to the Impeccable Pig location, and two, the Taste of India spot that is now permanently closed. What do you do with that building? It's quirky, it's a tad awkward, it has a hell of a lot of character. That windy down staircase that you get to Taste of India, that was the same spot where Henry's restaurant was located 8-10 years ago. The Vita Nova and Taste of India building, someone asked me on LinkedIn, should those two spots, the two restaurants, be combined to make one bigger restaurant that could appeal to more people? I thought about that for a moment, and you know what? My answer to that is no. And why my answer to that is no is because bigger restaurants and more square feet means more overhead for businesses to cover and entrepreneurs to cover. I think the future restaurant model is a model of smaller restaurant footprints. And I'm going to cut to the chase. As $15 an hour becomes what is basically going to be the minimum wage, mom and pop restaurants are going to have to ask themselves this question. I'm going to have to pay my front of the house and back of the house minimum of $15 an hour. I have to pass that added cost on to my customers with increased menu prices, or I change my model. And how I think the model is going to change, in part, is the elimination of table service to cut front of the house expenses down. I would not be surprised as $15 an hour becomes minimum wage and not living wage. I would not be surprised to see some of our mom and pop restaurants do window pickup for their food. You order your food at a register. You wait till your number or your name is called. You pick it up at a window, just like you do Bodo's, and you take your food to the table where you enjoy it. When you leave, a busboy cleans your table down, takes the trash out. This concept eliminates overhead associated with staffing. There is a cause and effect with everything we do in life. I stay up late on a Sunday evening, have one too many bourbons. I'm not on my A game on Monday morning. My son stays up late on Thursday night because grandma and grandpa are in town. And instead of going to bed at 6:30, he stays up later in the evening. Well, guess what? My son's cranky the next day. And grandma and grandpa say, what happened to him today versus yesterday? Well, he lost a few hours of sleep. And for a few hours of sleep for a 3-year-old, that makes a big deal. Fuel prices are going up left and right. You see it, I feel it. You feel the pain, I feel the pain. As gasoline goes up, the cost of goods increases. That's groceries. That's cigarettes. That's beer and booze. That's food at restaurants. Hell, that's clothing at Marshall's and the treasure hunting experience. Everything has a cause and effect. Everything has a cause and effect. And the effect of raising the living wage, eventually having that living wage turn into the minimum wage, my prediction is restaurants begin to pivot to window service, cutting back on table service. The Vita Nova Taste of India building on the downtown mall is quirky, it's funky. That basement spot especially, where you have to go down that black iron staircase to get into Taste of India. Before that, it was Henry's Restaurant. It's tough to get in there. I do not see those two spaces being combined, however. When Vita Nova goes across the street, I think the owner of that building will keep the spaces separate. You would rather, as a landlord, get checks from 2 tenants instead of 1 because you're hedging your risk in case one of them leaves the building. Furthermore, you want to create a business model or a building for people's business model that's advantageous for them to succeed. Having more square feet, combining the 2 spots, is going to increase overhead and monthly rent. We don't know yet the future of restaurants and how they're going to survive. Hell, we got a Delta variant with this COVID pandemic that's gaining momentum and steam. The future is undoubtedly a booster shot. Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Moderna. A booster shot is on our horizon. It's on our horizon. I don't think you combine the 2 spaces because I think the rent is going to be so high. And a perfect example of this is the Downtown Grill. The Downtown Grill Steakhouse has been for rent since early COVID. A year and change, the Downtown Grill's been for rent. Why is the Downtown Grill for rent? Lee Hughes previously had the listing. Now it's Johnny Pritzloff and Jenny Stoner. Why are there no people interested in these spaces? Because it's a massive restaurant. The square footage translates into a price tag per month in rent that is obscene. Smaller footprints. No table service. Window service. Cutting back on overhead. These are ways that help you hedge against inflation. And as gasoline prices increase, cost of goods will increase. And as labor costs increase, either menu prices will follow, and us, the consumer, are going to have to vote with our hard-earned dollars where we're going to spend our money, or the savvy restaurateurs will pivot their model and do quick serve or fast casual. Time will tell. Our crystal ball predictions on this program, however, have proven to be very accurate. Very accurate. All right, a couple more items out of the notebook that I need to get to. Put the Craigslist ad up, if you could, on screen. Let me know when that's up, my friend. Judah Wickhart does a hell of a job directing this program. I'm going to thank you. Look at the screen, guys. Look at the screen. Look at the screen now. Look at the screen now. There's a I'm going to read it for the people that are listening to the show on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. There's a bakery, cafe, and catering business in the city of Charlottesville that's for sale. It does not say which business it is in the Craigslist ad. Stu Rifkin has the listing. Stu does a lot of the businesses that are for sale. He's a business broker, a real estate broker. He's an entrepreneur. He's run and managed restaurants. Stu's a smart guy. I saw you the other day, Stu, at the 19th hole. Someone tagged Stu Rifkin. Stu is a smart guy. Keep the listing on screen, if you could, please. This same for sale graphic was used by Stu when he had the restaurant equipment that was for sale at the College Inn. In fact, I'm looking at the I Love CVille Instagram. You should look at the I Love CVille Instagram as well. I'll put it on screen. Come back to me if you could. Here's the post on the I Love CVille Instagram. We broke the news that the College Inn was for sale. I Love CVille did. Then we broke the news that the ranch dressing and the equipment and everything else was for sale. I did a post on June 29th. Get it? You got me on a one-shot, J-Dubs? See the for sale graphic on I Love CVille Instagram from June 29th? Look at the screen. That's the same graphic that's in the Craigslist listing. Now put the Craigslist listing up. You have to sign a non-disclosure agreement before you find out what the business is. This is what I want to do on the show. I want to read the copy. The copy is the words from the listing. I want to read the description of the business that's for sale. And then I want you and I, you the viewer and the listener, I want us together to try to guess which business this is. It's in Charlottesville. It says it's in Charlottesville. So I'm going to read the copy first, J-Dubs. Here's the copy. Long-standing and outstanding bakery, cafe, and caterer for sale. The owner is retiring. Best location in town. Decades of sales, nearing $2 million annually. Small drop-off due to COVID, but business is already back with gusto. Business only, there is no real estate for sale here, but a long-term lease with the current landlords await. Confidential. Must sign a non-disclosure agreement for more information. That's the copy of the business that's for sale, the description. I'll read it again. Long-standing and an outstanding bakery, cafe, and caterer for sale. The owner is retiring. Best location in town. That's a huge tip. That was a huge tip for me. I'm going to tell you my guess here in a matter of moments. You put in the comment section what you think this business is. Name the business that's for sale. Best location in town is a huge tip for identifying the business. Decades of sales nearing $2 million annually. Huge tip. Decades of sales. Huge tip there to identify which business is for sale. Business only, there is no real estate for sale here. That's another huge tip. So those three tips have helped me identify what I think the business is. What do you guys think this business is that is for sale? Decades in business, no real estate for sale, best location in town. What do you think it is? All right, I'm going to take my guess, and then I'll get to your comments. That's what I think, Vanessa Parkhill. That's what I think, Vanessa Parkhill. I'm going to give Vanessa Parkhill, you're a smart lady. Aaron King, what do you think it is? Do you think it's hotcakes? I think it's hotcakes. I think it's hotcakes for sale. I don't know. I'm strictly guessing. I texted Stu today. Stu's a friend. I see Stu around the neighborhood. Stu is a friend. He said I could not say what it is without a signed NDA. And I said, Stu, is it hotcakes? Am I on the right track? He says, I can't say anything without a signed NDA. I texted him right before the show. I think it's hotcakes. I think it's hotcakes. Best location in town. Is there any other retail real estate that is better than Barracks Road? No. Barracks Road is the best. Barracks Road is the best. It's not even close. Barracks Road's close to UVA. Barracks Road's got parking. Barracks Road's on Emmett Street. Barracks close to the interstate. Barracks got the best real estate in town if you're running a retail or sales business of any capacity. Barracks Road. In business for decades. Hotcakes has been in business for decades. The owner is retiring. The owner of Hotcakes is no spring chicken. Not a young man anymore. No spring chicken. I remember studying at Hotcakes while a student at the University of Virginia. Hell, that was close to 20 years ago. I think it's Hotcakes. Best location in town is Barracks Road. Decades of sales. Hotcakes has had decades of sales. $2 million annually. Hotcakes crushes it. Hotcakes does bakery, cafe, and catering. It caters people off-site. It has the cafe at Barracks Road, and it has a bakery on site at Barracks Road. Okay? No real estate for sale. Of course you're not buying the real estate. Federal Realty owns it, a publicly traded company in Barracks Road. I think this business that is for sale is Hotcakes. Prove me wrong. Someone prove me wrong. It's in the city of Charlottesville. It's in the city of Charlottesville. Aaron, what were you thinking? Aaron King's watching, Western Albemarle's finest alum. Aaron King, what do you think it is? Please put it in the feed, Aaron King. You know I trust your judgment, Aaron King, especially when it comes to business and food and restaurants. What do you think it is, EK, if it's not hotcakes? Do you think it's hotcakes, EK? I wouldn't think it's... What do you think it is, EK? I'm curious of what Aaron King thinks. I think it's hotcakes that's for sale. Here's the tough aspect of this. Barracks Road Shopping Center is expensive. Barracks Road Shopping Center is slowly becoming a big brand corporation shopping center. What local businesses can you rattle off in Barracks Road Shopping Center? The Virginia Shop, the Happy Cook. I can rattle those off. What else is local in Barracks Road Shopping Center, Judah?
What else is in Barracks?
That's local, locally owned. I'm going to the directory now. I'm not talking Barracks North. I'm talking the main shopping center, okay? The main shopping center. What else is local? I'm going to the directory right now. I just Googled the directory. Greenberries. Greenberries is local. God, I should have said Greenberries. Love you guys, Greenberries. Greenberries is local. Hotcakes, Greenberries. What else is local in the main area? The main area. Taratai is local. Taratai. First Watch is a chain. Appreciate that perspective, though. First Watch is a chain. Still not bad, Judah Wickhauer. What else is local? I guess where I'm going with this is Barracks proper is very much heading the way of Stonefield. Man, Aaron King, Albemarle Baking Company. I don't think it's Albemarle Baking Company, EK. That's an interesting one, EK. I don't think it's ABC, Albemarle Baking Company. I think it's Hotcakes. And why I do not think it's Albemarle Baking Company is because Stu Rifkin used the language, best location in town. Best location in town. And Albemarle Baking Company, I would not say is in a better location than Barracks Road Shopping Center. Do you guys give me that? Albemarle Baking Company is in the purple building, right, EK? Right, Aaron King? In the purple building where you guys are at? I think that's a beautiful location. I love the purple building. I absolutely love the purple building. But I don't think the purple building is comparable to a Barracks Road Shopping Center. I think this is hotcakes, man. I think this is 100% hotcakes that's for sale. Time will tell, but I'm pretty sure we just broke some more news on today's show. Now, a couple more items I want to get out of the notebook here. And then I'm going to get to your comments. We got Keith Smith coming today to tangle the Fashion Square Mall mess. The Fashion Square Mall mess is a freaking fiasco, dude. You got some people that own the land that don't own the structure. In fact, I'm going to read this comment to you. The beautiful thing about social media, especially how we utilize social media, is you get a lot of information out there quickly, and then you can gather information from other people that are reliable. For instance, Aaron King, that's watching this show, is one of the most reliable people I know when it comes to restaurants and the restaurant business. There was a comment on I Love CVille Facebook on Friday from Danielle Johnson. Danielle Johnson. And this is what she said. Jerry Miller, the property the mall sits on is not owned by the owners of the actual building. The land will not be included. I'm 100% positive on this. I'm the office administrator and have spoken to members of the families that actually own the land the mall is built on. She then says, Jerry Miller, I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt, the land the mall sits on is owned by several families. I know this because it is part of my job to know. I can also tell you that Carolyn Cooper is correct. The former J.C. Penney building, as well as the Belk Women's Store, are not owned by the mall. So Danielle Johnson, the office administrator, has spoken to the members of the family that own the land the mall is built upon. So the only thing, according to Danielle Johnson, and we're going to get some more insight here from Keith Smith, the only thing that's for sale in this Fashion Square Mall deal is the building and structure itself. Now I'm going to throw this stuff to you. Who in their right mind that is a private citizen or a business would buy the structure that's old and crumbling and falling apart and situated for something of the past, a mall, when they don't own the dirt as well? The dirt is the effing value. The structure that's crumbling and falling apart is not the value. Certainly not when that structure is shaped and structured like a shopping mall that is that of a horse-drawn carriage, something of the past. Who in their right mind would buy this? We'll untangle this web of confusion with Keith Smith in a matter of moments on the I Love CVille show. Now, I want to get three other items out of the notebook before we get Keith here. Skooma, this boutique dispensary on the downtown mall, I'm getting to know the owner extremely well, and this dispensary is going to absolutely boom. We're going to help it boom on this network. But what David and his wife are doing is customer service done the right way, and they're selling CBD from vendors around Charlottesville, and they have the best location for any dispensary that's alive today downtown. The only way a dispensary is going to get a better location than what David has on the downtown mall is if they open in Barracks Road Shopping Center. And I don't see that happening anytime soon, not anybody local. Skooma Boutique Dispensary in the downtown mall, watch this place boom. You heard it here first. It is going to boom. Housing. Let's talk housing, a macro trend. New listings of homes jumped 4% in the 4-week period ending July 4th from a year earlier, according to Redfin. New listings were up 3% from the same time in 2019, the first time they topped pre-pandemic levels. 77% of respondents said it's a good time to sell, up from 67% in May. Folks, people are coming back from vacation, and they're ready to sell their homes. They see every Tom, Dick, and Harry getting top dollar for their structure. They're getting more comfortable and confident with COVID and strangers walking through their houses during open houses. Remember when we thought open houses were a thing of the past? When open houses were going to go away altogether? Guess what? They're back, and they're back in droves. Now, until the end of the year, you're going to see listings pop up on the market, which will hopefully stabilize this seller's market. Time's going to tell. But new listings is a good thing. And the last thing, I'm going to emphasize this again. Taste of India is closed. Draft Tap Room is not even open. I don't know why Draft Tap Room would not be open. Draft Tap Room's business model is perfectly situated for COVID. You take your glass, you go to the machine, you fill it up with beer, and you walk to your table. Perfectly situated with COVID. The people behind Draft Tap Room are the QIM team, the Joffrey Woodruff team. Draft Tap Room has been closed throughout the pandemic, despite being perfectly situated for this. The downtown Biergarten concept strategy that we've been evangelizing for 2+ years on this network is so needed, Lloyd Snook. It's so needed, Michael Payne. It's so needed, Nakia Walker, Sina McGill, and Heather Hill. In fact, I'm going to tag all you guys on the feed right now. Nakia Walker, Sina McGill, Michael Payne, Lloyd Snook, Heather Hill. Enter. Watch at the 1:19 p.m. marker. I'll add that. Enter. All right, we just tagged the city councilors. You got people coming back downtown, yet you still have vacancies. You got people coming back downtown, yet you still have storefronts permanently closing and going out of business. You got people coming back downtown, yet Draft Tap Room, the Downtown Grill, Taste of India, Ike's, and a handful of other places can't find tenants. The Biergarten concept will solve this. And the city can make tax revenue on top of it, plus the boost in the meals tax and the lodging tax that comes with it. It's a no freaking brainer. Follow I Love CVille on Instagram. We're going to get to some comments here. There's a ton of them. Once we get to the comments, we'll welcome Keith Smith here to the show. I Love CVille on Instagram has the third largest community, third largest reach behind the University of Virginia and the city of Charlottesville. 13,000 plus followers on that count. Vanessa Parkhill says, agree the county should scoop up Fashion Square Mall, Albemarle County. I was telling a friend a couple weeks ago that it could be converted to school space. J.C. Penney could be converted to gym space. Each store throughout probably already has a restroom and could be converted to individual classroom space. Food court area transitions to cafeteria. Maybe Sears converts to a community center. Infrastructure is already there and site development is already done. She referenced Keith Smith in here. She says, Keith Smith says that's a huge part of development. Building costs, right? Parking, bus stops, etc. already there. She says your name in the comment section, Keith. He's right there. We're going to talk about that with Smith in T-minus 45 seconds. Daily Progress, CBS 19 and NBC 29, welcome to the show. Johnny Ornalis says, when Bricks closed, they were paying over $20,000 a month. Bricks Pizza. Bricks Pizza was paying $28K a month. $28,000 a month. Now, they were paying $28K a month because it was an island. It was an island pad. It was not a pad in the shopping center. And it had street and signs frontage to Emmett Street. You could see it while driving by Barracks Road. He's right, though. Astronomical. Bill McChenzie says Rebecca's Natural Foods. I don't think it's Rebecca's. Rebecca's is not a caterer, nor is it a baker. Fud Guy says, sounds like hotcakes. I do think it's hotcakes, Fud Guy. I think it's hotcakes. I texted Stu. Time will tell. I texted Stu. All right, let's get our friend Keith Smith in the mix here. He's cooling down. We try to let you cool down a little bit there. Looking a little sweaty. It's a good thing you're wearing that shirt. That shirt's good for summer. The first time I've ever seen you in shorts over here. Good to see you. Come on in, my friend.
I was going to make a comment, but I won't.
Good to see you, pal.
I mean, you're so on fire, I'm sweating, just sitting here listening to you.
Well, you got comments already for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, as
to see you,
anticipated. Good to see you too.
I love every minute I spend with you, by the way.
Same. I 100% agree with you.
Sorry about
Same
that.
with you. I enjoy spending time with you. You think it's hotcakes?
It's hot, yes, I'm hot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hold on, let's give him a laugh here. Where's the laugh?
well, you know, somebody told me, you really walk from your office to here at 90-degree weather? And I go, yeah.
Do you? He sprints from his location.
No,
at
sprints a little.
Do you ride the bike?
No, I do not.
Do you walk?
No, but hats off to Matthew Gilligan. Gilligan. Is Gilligan?
Gilligan.
Gilligan.
You gonna get one of those bikes?
I'm looking at an electric bike.
Electric
this
bike?
This way I don't sweat when I come to see you when I walk from the office to here.
Do you think it's hotcakes in Barracks?
Yeah, and so I think the giveaway is the dine-in.
Yeah.
That's the giveaway. I think
The cafe.
Yeah, well, the cafe, right, which is dine-in, right, and that's I've been here for 3 decades or more, so that's been here as long as I've been here. So plus, it's just all the pieces of the puzzle fit on that. My original thought, as I was sprinting over, was Chandler's.
But that's not in the city.
Well, A, is not in the city, and B, doesn't have the dining. I just got hung up on the bakery part of it. They've been around just as long as hotcakes has been around.
Yeah. So should we start with the mall?
Before you do that,
Yeah.
you're spot on, as you usually are.
Thank you.
I keep my market monitor, I do. Last 3 days, 32 homes came on the market, 24 went into pending. Last 3 days.
Last 3 days, 32 went on the market. 24 homes in our area went into under contract.
Correct. That's just the whole car footprint.
Okay.
And it doesn't break down new construction revenue. This is just big picture
Dude,
stuff.
that's the first time in a long time that's been that way.
It's been the first time in a long time. It's good. The market is starting to balance. That's what we want.
First time in a long time, what we mean by that is more homes coming on the market than homes went under contract.
I've been tracking this daily since COVID,
And when's the last time that's ever been?
pre-COVID.
Well, that's huge.
Last time I seen it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, that I might have missed it.
Yeah, but you're pretty,
I'm pretty on top of it.
Yeah.
This is the first thing. I have a cup of coffee. This is the first thing I check.
the first time since COVID?
That's my understanding. That's what I have looked at. It's the first time. So it's starting to balance, right? So if you looked at it just on Sunday, excuse me, if you looked at it just this morning
Yeah.
and didn't do the last 3 days, it's the reverse. There's actually a bunch. So what's happening is houses are going on the market on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. To start coming off on Sunday and Monday, that kind of thing. But it's the market. We've been predicting this on Real Talk and on I Love Charlottesville for quite some time.
Yeah.
It's starting to balance out, which is a good thing. And so, but there's other factors that are coming into, which we're going to talk about this in coming shows. We're having to delay closings because we can't get movers. We're having to delay closings because we can't get qualified mechanics to come in. That's why I'm so in love with Interstate Service.
Yeah.
It's a one-stop shop. You can go in and they can come in, take care of everything. But to get an electrician to show up to fix one receptacle, it's weeks and weeks out.
That's nuts.
So you're starting to see this.
I'll tell you, a handyman, someone who wanted to be like, they would kill it.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, we talk about this all the time, but and we're actually putting a panel together, which I'm really super excited about. That's going to talk only about vocational training around here. We got some rock stars coming in from PVCC, Piedmont Community College, a couple other national and statewide folks to talk about that.
So first time, what do you got there? You give me that look.
This is mall stuff.
Fashion Square Mall.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to buckle up. I have a feeling, guys, so Real Talk tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. Is this going to be a topic?
Sure.
Okay. So this man is going to untangle.
So that's
Put it in perspective how
yeah.
tough this is.
You ever hear the term a hairy, like an 800-pound hairy gorilla?
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is super. All you got to do, I'm waiting on some title work to come back, which hopefully we'll get back from the show tomorrow. But all you got to do is look at the GIS.
I looked at the GIS.
And there's only the parcels they're foreclosing on is only 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5, 6, 7, 8 total.
Well, there's individual owners of some of those.
Correct. So this is what's happening.
Yeah.
High level.
Yeah.
There's a lender out there that's in first position.
Okay.
So it's called first deed of trust.
Okay.
And
Explain what that means to them.
Yeah. So the first deed of trust is.
If you default, they take it back. They take the property away from
Well, no. The first deed of trust is the entity that's first in line.
you. Okay.
So this is a common thing in residential, right? You have a mortgage on your home, and then you take a second out.
Uh-huh.
And if that second is with another lender other than your primary lender, they're in a second position. God forbid you should have to foreclose, you get foreclosed on. So what the first deed of trust job, with their main focus in it, is to get their property back. We talked about this on Friday.
Take it back.
They literally have to buy it back. They actually, at the closing step, have to buy it back. What that does is that immediately removes or pushes or makes the second, third, or fourth lien holders, whichever they may be stacked on here. And I don't know that yet because I haven't seen the title work on it. But I'm assuming there's second and third, because the way it's carved up, there's got to be. These people, these entities really don't have a snowball chance in hell. So if you remember back in the foreclosure crisis, that was the big problem, right? So the primary lien holder, the first lien holder, had the first position. They'd foreclose on the house and then sell it to Jerry, and then everybody downstream lost out. Lost out. Yeah. Well, what they would do is they'd end up trying to sue you. Then you file bankruptcy. Then it goes away. So this is, in my opinion, and I called it on Friday when we spitballing this as it was breaking live. This is, in my opinion, is just that. This is this first lien holder trying to get their asset back, and then they got to unravel a 50-year land lease. And I don't know where we're at in that 50-year land lease. If it's 50 years, it has to be recorded. So I'm in the process of trying to dig that up, and I'm calling in some favors from folks to try to get some.
So does that mean what is being auctioned on Friday
Yeah.
is strictly
It's just a step.
50-year lease?
No. So that's what I have to dig up. Whatever these parcel numbers are, right? It's probably the physical structure that's sitting on top of that.
Not the land.
We don't know. I know the land has a 50-year land lease on it. So let's talk about what a 50-year land lease looks like. So you can do that, and that becomes a, you can like build on it. It becomes a commodity, just like a regular, like if you were to go out and buy something. Usually they're about 90 years, by the way.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to figure out where you're at in this 50-year land lease.
Okay. Obviously, the longer the term, the better for you. If you have a 50-year land lease and there's a couple years left, this doesn't have a lot of opportunity for you.
That's exactly right. So as you know, I know folks in the space, and everybody local that I know won't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
The Fashion Square Mall.
Yeah, they won't touch it.
Okay.
UVA won't touch it.
Right.
Albemarle County won't touch it.
You don't think Albemarle would touch it?
No, because you can't untangle it. That's the problem.
So is it just going to stay John Dewberry Hotel vacant?
Well, it's either that, and then the other component in it is you have to figure out how long the leases are left on it, right? And is there enough money coming in to meet some sort of note? But what this first lien holder is trying to do is make everybody else go away as best as they can, so that it's only them, right? So they're trying to get their asset back is the term that they're going to use. And then they might look at the leases and go, okay, the half a dozen stores or whatever is there that are paying, I don't know, I'm just pulling numbers.
Yeah, it's not many.
Off the top of my head. If there's enough money to come in here to pay the taxes and pay whatever minimal expenses are, they're just going to leave it alone. The problem with that 50-year lease is, and you called it earlier, is how do you separate the two? And if the leaseholder wishes not to do that, it could be another Dewberry. It could be another.
And just sitting empty there. And I would say that is even more impactful at that location than the Dewberry Hotel on the downtown mall.
Anybody that I would suggest you get on the Albemarle County GIS. It is pretty plain as to see the numbers on it. I mean, they're owned by different people. It's just this convoluted mess. This is why when you do a project like this, and depending on when this all started, I can tell you now, no lender would ever lend money on something this convoluted and complicated.
So this is what the office manager said. Did you hear that part?
I was trying to cool down. I didn't hear that part.
Her name is Danielle Johnson.
An office manager of?
That we
you
don't
can't.
know.
We don't know that. Okay.
Or that we shouldn't say.
Got it, Roger. Understood.
We can
No.
say.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
She says this. In fact, I'm surprised she's saying this much.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm reading this is because she typed it
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Facebook.
yeah. No, I get
Once
it.
she typed it on Facebook, then I could read it.
All bets are off.
Right. She said, Jerry
why-
Miller, go ahead. Jerry Miller, the property the mall sits on is not owned by the owners of the actual building.
So let's stop there.
Okay.
So that's the 50-year land lease.
Right?
Right.
For the structure.
Right. So I chair the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust, right?
Right.
We do a 90-year lease. So it's a similar situation where we own the land and then the property above it is sold.
Right.
And it's tied together
So
by...
he's very familiar with this model.
Very much so. Well, and it's not uncommon in the commercial world to have what they call commercial leases, land leases like this.
Okay? She says the land will not be included. She continues, I'm 100% positive I'm the office administrator, not going to say where, and I've spoken to members of the families that actually own the land the mall is built on.
Correct.
She then continues, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, the land the mall sits on is owned by several families.
Mm-hmm.
I know this because it is part of my job to know.
Well, that's the lease.
Yeah.
So Jerry is the family member that owns this 50-year lease.
Yeah.
I'm Simon. I'm Keith Smith, developer. I come into you, and I'm going to do the Fashion Square. What do you call it?
Fashion Scare.
Scaremore.
Yeah, Fashion Scare Mall.
I can't even say it. The Fashion Square. I'll just.
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
Mall.
Call it the mall.
We'll call it the mall. Okay. Which I have not been in 20 years. But
Right.
anyway, I literally have not stepped foot in there in 20 years. So what I do is I come to you and I say, okay, I want to sign a 50-year lease with this because you don't want to sell it to me because you want to retain ownership. Little thing that everybody needs to know, in the state of Virginia, everything goes with the land. So you say...
What does that mean?
As the land goes, everything above it goes. So what this lender's trying to do is push all the problem childs out of there. There's got to be mezzanine structures in here. I don't know this for a fact, but once I see the title work, it'll be pretty clear. There's more than likely a mezzanine structure with different second deed of trust, third. This first deed of trust is going to push them away only on these particular parcels, which is like 3 or 4 of them out of 6 or 7 or 8 of them. So, okay, they take a breath. We got this away. All right, now let's start tackling the land lease. And let's start tackling. And this stuff is just going to be worked through methodically over time so that somebody gets complete, or some entity gets complete control of these 7 or 8 or 6 parcels. I can't remember the number of them off the top of my head. That's the path. That's if I'm sitting for this lender, when they're called workout people. They actually call them workout guys, but I call them workout people because we want to be
Workout people.
Yeah, there's a job that specifically banks have that they're called asset managers, and they're workout folks. And when something gets into trouble, it's like the FBI showing up. Or the IRS, that's even better. It's like the IRS showing up. You don't want an asset manager or a workout person to come in here and see you. I've been here. I've done this. I know exactly how this works. So that's what they're trying to do. This is, nobody's going to buy this. Nobody's going to show up with a $16 million check. It's just not going to happen because it's so tangled.
So what's going to happen on Friday on these courthouse steps?
So probably there's no reasonable entity is going to spend something and not know how it's broken. So what the bank is trying to do is get its asset back. So what it'll do is go up there, nobody will have it, it will make a bid, and the bid is typically the amount that it's owed on the loan, it actually will buy it back from itself. There's an actual transaction that has to happen, right? Then it will get its asset back.
The bank.
The lender.
Yeah.
It may not be a bank. We don't know what it is.
Right.
But the lender is going to do that. So in essence, they lent out the money to start with. They got to buy it back. So they're in it for 2 times the amount.
I'm with you.
On that amount. And then they start going to court. They start suing people. They start doing warning debts. And they start doing all this fun stuff trying to get as much capital going back in their own thing. And keep in mind, these workout people, these asset managers know zero about real estate. They're just looking at numbers, and they're just trying to get their asset back so they can control it. I'll bet you a bottle of bourbon that's what's going to happen.
I'm not going to take that bet.
Because you know
I've been trying.
I'm
not taking bets like that.
I've been trying to win back this bottle for what 2.5
Yeah, a long time. 170 shows. 176.
Yeah, so 7, whatever it is.
So you think that's what's going to happen? So is your next prediction that it's going to sit empty and vacant?
No, I don't think it's going to sit empty. What it's going to end up doing is you're a tenant in there. So instead of Judah, it's going to be the lender. Okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to end up assuming your leases.
Okay.
And hopefully, I mean, from a bank's perspective, and it knows all this already. All this stuff has been mapped out before this Friday. More than likely, it'll sit down and talk to the tenants and say, look, you need to still making payments. I'm your new landlord, blah, 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 blah. Somebody's done the math. Okay, I can keep the lights on. I can plow, whatever it is. And all these other things I'm talking to you about, this unraveling of this mess. I was thinking about it over here. Do you like to fish? Do you fish at all?
Sometimes.
Yeah, when you're fishing, you kind of let your thumb off and this big bird's nest comes up.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Okay.
And now somebody has to untie the whole thing, and it's going to take forever. But I suspect it's going to operate the way it is. Now, if the tenants haven't been paying, or the math doesn't work, it's cheaper to shut it down. But we won't know that. We'll know that pretty quickly.
What is the short-term future for it?
What time is this on Friday? By
1 o'clock.
You want to go there on 1 o'clock after the show?
I might be able to do that.
Yeah. That'd be fun just to watch it. Then we can report in.
So how did the auction? I've never been to an auction.
They sit up on the court thing. There's a lawyer.
On the steps?
Yeah,
It's literally on the front steps.
It's literally on the front steps. It's about as 18, 19, or whatever it is you can get. They sit on the court step. Somebody reads a deed, right? They open it up for auction. They give it a 5 count. If nobody comes in, or 10 count, whatever it is, then the bank steps in and buys it. If the auction's over, and the bank just they walk in, they write a check, they get the deed over to themselves, and they move on.
Here's a question for you.
We should take notes for that. That'd be a good, fun thing to do.
That would be so fun.
That's pretty sad that we actually
I think it's fun too. I think it's a lot of fun. Here's a question for you.
I thought about that after I said it.
What is more likely to have a viable business first? Johnny Dewberry's Hotel or Fashion Scare Mall?
Wow.
That's a good prop bet right there.
Oh, we're back on the whiskey thing, huh?
The Dewberry Hotel or Fashion Scare Mall. And we cannot call the current tenants that they have as a viable business, right? We know that they're sunsetting those businesses.
You're sitting.
Well, I mean, I don't think,
Yeah.
the 3 businesses that are whatever it is that are in the mall, that's not a viable business.
Well, we're defining viable businesses when it used to be thriving.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Which one comes to market first with a viable business? Dewberry Hotel or Fashion Scare Mall?
That's interesting, because Dewberry has some interesting issues that are starting to happen with it. I had a meeting with
You're talking about the structural. You're saying it's been so exposed to the elements that it could be getting to the point of being a tear.
I had a structural engineer friend of mine that was looking at a home that we were doing a home inspection that needed a structural engineer to look at it. And I said, "What do you think?" And so what happens with it's tension steel concrete. So within that concrete is all this rebar, right? And this tension keeps it together. And what happens is it starts rusting from the inside out. So the reason you put a facade around a structure like that is to keep the water and the moisture from coming in there. So eventually, water will start eroding it. So if you go to Virginia Beach and you look at a concrete bulkhead, right? It starts eroding, right? Well, that's what water does to concrete and all that stuff. It erodes. So I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't somewhere along the lines, this is years and years and years, much more than we already been in the ground. So that's interesting. I think if we were going to bet, I'd probably take Fashion Square over that.
Having a more viable business quicker than the Dewberry?
Yeah, just for the hell of it. I think
Wow.
I'll take that just because I want to buy another bottle of bourbon.
You really think that?
No, I don't think that.
I think it's the Dewberry.
I think it's the Dewberry, but the caveat is, what are you going to do with it, right? So the reason nothing's happened with the Dewberry is it's all tied up in these lawsuits.
Well, I mean, this is kind of his MO.
I know enough about the man to agree with you, but I don't know enough of him to absolutely agree with you. Does that make sense?
Sure. I mean, if he can leave it derelict and vacant and exposed like he is,
Yeah.
he's got leverage to
What?
potentially get some tax incentives.
Well, and then this would be a very difficult thing to do, but there is a potential solution to this. Dewberry. You can the city can draw a little square or rectangle around the downtown mall and do an ordinance, come on, Judah, help me out.
You're talking blight?
Blight, thank you.
Yeah.
To do a blight ordinance. And then they could try to force him to do something. But at the moment, because Virginia is a property rights state,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And because everything goes with the land,
Right.
it's this difficult thing. And there's really no answer to it. Now, if it can be proven that it's unsafe or something, then I think the city would have some leverage. Look, you started off your show, by the way, great monologue, great entry on the statues. Couldn't agree with you more than what you said. So thank God we're moving on. Maybe the city can now tackle this.
Yeah. Now that have more, room in our brain to handle something else. Okay, here's another question.
People don't see it any longer. That's the problem.
Yeah. It's just like part of the skyscape.
People don't see it. It's like if you live by overhead lines or a monopole or something, after a while you just don't see it. And I know I'm down here every day and or every other day or whatever, and I'm at the point that I don't see it any longer. I literally just walk right past it.
Here's the next question I have for you, and then we'll get to some of these comments that are coming in for you. And I know we have the meeting. Is Emily here?
Emily will be here, but Emily can wait.
All right, here's the next one.
Not to be dismissive to Emily, but she can wait. Because I love Emily. She does everything.
Emily's functions amazing.
My
We're
rock
having
star.
a meeting after this, and we're going to be mindful of her time.
That's
what we're saying.
You just said it better than I did.
The next question I have for you is, what is a more important, not more valuable? Fashion Square Mall on that property is clearly more valuable than the Dewberry Hotel. It's larger, it has more acreage.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Okay, what is a more important from a marketplace perception standpoint?
Oh.
Dewberry or Fashion Square Mall?
Well, I think it's now Fashion Square Mall because, as we just said, nobody's seeing Dewberry anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of you have people.
That's a good argument.
I just had a meeting this morning from people from out of the state, right? And we had coffee on the downtown mall. Walked literally right past it. Nobody said, "Oh, what's going on with this?"
Right.
They just don't see it anymore.
I was there. My parents were in town this weekend. We walked by it. Same thing.
Didn't say anything.
They didn't even bring it up.
Yeah. So.
These are
5 years ago?
They come twice a year.
Exactly
this time
right.
They didn't even bring it up.
5 years ago, that would not have been the case.
Yeah. That's a good argument.
So I would say that it's just become part of everybody's psyche, just like the beautiful Paramount, right? This is just the opposite to that. People just walk past it and don't really pay attention to it.
This comment from Vanessa, she says, infrastructure is already there and the site development is already done. Keith Smith says that's a huge part of development, building costs.
We're talking about the mall now?
Yeah.
100%. The problem is if you look at the GIS, so development 101.
Okay.
Control everything around you.
Okay.
So at the moment, if I have 7 parcels, 6 parcels, whatever the amount is, and we don't even acquire it because it's a land lease. We don't even own it, right? The very first rule that you have to do is to own the parcels.
Okay.
Right, so one of the hardest things for a developer to do is to assemble parcels, right? So it doesn't matter if infrastructure's there, the road is there, all that stuff, but if geometrically this thing is all, if you really look at it, it's a geometric mess on that thing. So you would have to square this off or rectangle this thing off and say, okay, now I own this, okay? It's kind of exactly how Chris Henry did Dairy Market. They went and they bought all these on this parcel, which was multiple parcels, created this rectangle or square or whatever it is. So, okay, good. Then they went through the process. Somebody has to put that assemblage together first. And that's not going to start until this step number 1 happens. And they're only going to own their little puzzle pieces of this puzzle. There's other puzzle pieces they're not even own them. They're just owning the property, not the 50-year lease on it. And the thing is, I don't know if the 50-year lease is on all the parcels. I suspect it is. I think the whole family owns all these number of parcels that you and I look at as Fashion Square, right? This, when you come off of Rio, is it Rio, right? It's
Yeah.
Rio 29, this rectangle thing from Sears. And oh, come on, Smith. What's the restaurant chain?
Red Robin?
No, the seafood place.
Red Lobster.
Red Lobster.
Okay.
When you look at all that, you kind of think that's one big parcel, but it's not. It's all these multiple parcels.
How about this one from Instagram? Jerry asked Keith about municipalities owning real estate.
Yeah.
He covered this on Friday's show. He's not a fan.
It's
watch the Friday
yeah.
show.
Thank you, buddy. I'm impressed. I'm
crazy.
flattered.
Yeah.
I'm flattered, actually. Look, very rarely do local governments do well when they own this type of real estate, right? Stuff like water systems, sewer systems, things that provide services, utilities. Yes. Parks. Yes. For the good of the community. Yes. Where jurisdictions do well with ownership outside of what I just described is things like industrial parks. So a prime example is, I believe Louisa County owns Ferncliff out off of 64 on that, which is where Amazon's coming.
Okay.
Right? I'm 99% sure. I have to double check that. Things like that, or airports, or baseball fields, or things that service the community as a whole, local governments do really well with that. And you'll find out once you get elected, they don't do really very well at running businesses. And this is a business thing where let's assume this magic wand, Jerry and Keith just came up with the genius way to untangle this fishing nest, this bird nest of stuff. Poof, it's done. The right way to do this is with a PPP, public-private partnership, where we get together with the state, the local, private sector folks, and create what we talked about on Friday to do that, where there's not a direct ownership by the county,
Okay.
but they're part of it. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Last one, and then we're going to go, and it's just, they're listening to you. Power of social media used for the good. Keith brings up Amazon. This is from Ben Huseman. Ben Huseman says, Keith brings up Amazon. This scene would be perfect for Amazon and some kind of drop industry packaging center.
It could be. I'm passionate about affordable housing, so that's where I always will default. Amazon, the point is, none of this is going to happen. It's this bird's nest of fishing line that somebody has to start unpacking to even go ahead and say, okay, now I got a clean sheet of paper. What can we do with
It's
this?
going to take.
It may never happen.
Jesus.
It may never happen.
So if you're the families, see, this is why I enjoy talking. I learn from you. If you're the families that own the dirt,
Well, that's why this where you're at in this 50 years is so important.
explain that to me.
Well, at some point, so first of all, you need to get eyes on the lease.
Okay.
So if it's over 5 years, it's required to be recorded.
Okay.
So that's what I'm hopefully going to have by tomorrow. I may not.
Are you talking to our friend?
Yeah, I've actually I'm on the phone with 3 title searchers that I work with that I know, trying to beg them to give us at least a back of the envelope documents. Hopefully it'll happen, but I can't promise it. But we'll have enough information that we can talk a little bit more in depth on that end of stuff. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. Get me back.
The family.
Yeah, so the family on the 50-year lease, you have to take a look at the lease. Is it an automatic reboot, which usually they are.
Okay.
Right? Most leases I've ever been involved with, like for instance, all post offices, U.S. post offices, the government doesn't own the land. They got 99-year leases. There may be some exceptions to that, but as a rule, they're leases. And what happens? They automatically punt. They automatically get kicked up. My suspicion is that's what's happening here. If it doesn't, and maybe the lender knows this, and maybe the lender knows where it's at in the 50-year cycle, because if that lease I've been here for 30-something years, so if that 50-year lease was signed before I got here, this may be at the end of it. And it may want to renegotiate it. And in order to do that, it's kind of pushing. I'm really spitballing here, guys, without having, this is.
It's okay. Get NBC 29 and CBS 19 watching you.
Oh, and somebody's calling me.
I know.
Oh, look at that! It's one of my title searching.
Should
people.
you answer that?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're gonna do that off air.
I'm not going to do that on air.
So, let's close on this. Are the families making any money now that own the dirt?
Well, we don't know. We have to look at it.
Okay.
Right. We have to look at what the lease is.
This is complicated.
That's my point. The best way I could describe it is if you ever went fishing and you tossed and that thing went shoop. That's what this is. And it all has to be, you have to pick it apart, and you can't cheat and cut. You've got to literally pick this thing apart. And nobody, at least local anyway, is going to go through that brain damage. Literally, the people that I was talking to locally use that word. This is nothing but pure brain damage. The lender will go through that brain damage, depending where it is. They're going to try to put a package together, and that might happen 1 year, 2 years, 3, whatever it is. And they're going to put this package together, and they're going to go, hey, Jerry, here's this deal. You're interested? That's how that's going to go. When that happens, good Lord, and would only know.
So, real talk tomorrow?
I think we just did it.
Yeah. We're going to untangle the fishing line.
If that phone call goes as successful as I hope it does, yeah.
Real talk tomorrow, 10:15 a.m. Guys, TV stations that are watching, 10:15 a.m. tomorrow. This guy, we hope, is going to offer some clarity on this for your TV broadcasts at 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, don't. What is that terminology?
Don't
overpromise.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Something like that.
Don't overpromise and underdeliver. You always want to underpromise and overdeliver. All right, we hope tomorrow, CBS 19 and NBC 29, that this man is going to untangle this equation.
If I can get my eyes on that 50-year lease,
then you'll have some clarity.
Then we'll have a ton of clarity.
Okay. And then once we do that tomorrow on Real Talk, newspaper and TV, those are your follow-up stories for the traditional news cycle. All right, that's the show. Keith Smith is A-plus people. Fucking love that guy. Yes,
he was so on fire, I'm still sweating.
And yes, Realty Partners. Is this called chambreau? What is this called? That shirt material. Isn't it called chambreau, Judah?
It's actually linen.
No. Okay, linen. All right, sorry. It's linen.
It better be linen.
I'm pretty sure. Isn't that a word for clothing? Is it chambreau?
Okay.
Chambreau is created by
not the liquor company. See? Look, it is. Chambray shirts. It's a chambray shirt.
Well, when we're off air, I'll take it off because I don't want to shock anybody.
Please don't take that off. Please don't take that off.
It's a linen silk mix is what it is.
There we go. Vanessa says, Keith, thank you for shedding light on all the pieces related to Fashion Scare right there.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, it's just
more to come.
Yeah, I mean, what's the famous saying? Be the
source of the source.
Be the source of the source.
You're going to be the source of the source. You are the source of the source.
I don't know about that, but we're going to try.
You are. Alex, this is a great show, you two. A very good education on 2 significant CVille sites.
Alex is a home run.
Alex Erford.
Alex, we'll schedule an appointment. He and I need to schedule an appointment.
Oh, is he reaching out to you?
No, I reached out to him. Now
Okay, you're gonna tell him. I'm gonna call you.
I reached out to him. He reached out to me. Now it's on me to reach back out to
There we
him.
go, Alex Serpy. All right, guys, we're out of here. We'll see you 10:15 a.m. tomorrow. Put it in your calendar. Fashion Square Mall.
Square.
10:15 a.m. tomorrow. There's the fabulous Emily. All right, we're out of here, guys. You have a good afternoon. Take care.
Okay. Whew, I'm still sweating like a stuck pig.